I used to think that Solis was one of the best operators in Rainbow Six Siege, and when she released, she was, but Ubisoft nerfed her, they reworked her gadget, and now she is just underwhelming. So in today's video, we are going to be breaking down how Ubisoft can make Solis great again without making her absolutely overpowered. Now to do this, the first thing we have to do is have a look at what made Solis so broken in the first place. And when she first released, the main complaint from the community was the fact she could use her gadget during prep phase. She could find and destroy drones, making it almost impossible for the attackers to gather intel before the rounds even started. This led to rounds where people didn't even find the bomb, they couldn't actually get to the objectives. And to be completely honest, when Solis first launched, yes, she was very broken. Now the simple solution here would just be for Ubisoft to remove her gadget availability in prep phase, but no, that is not what they did. When Ubisoft decided to tackle Solis as a problem in Rainbow Six Siege, they decided to rework her in two parts. The first part did do exactly that. It disabled her gadget in prep phase, but it also removed the duration of her gadget by half, made it so that you had to fully recharge her gadget before using it again, and even reduced the detection range from 15 meters down to 12. And just to put the nail in the coffin, Ubisoft also decided to remove impact grenades, which was a massive part of the way people played Solis at the time. Now when part 2 of her rework come out, they also changed the way the gadget works entirely. Now since that second part of her rework and nerf, I genuinely think that Solis has become one of the worst defenders in the game. You rarely see her now, and when people do play her, it does become very hard to actually use her to a good capability. It makes it hard for you to actually make plays off the gadget, and I think that the rework concept that I have come up with will help solve all of the issues without making her broken. Now before we go ahead and get to any of the new changes, the first thing I have to say is if we're going to be reworking Solis, the first thing we need to do is cancel the rework they already did to her. Revert everything that they changed back to the way she was when she launched. Now with that being said, obviously the first thing we have to do is make it so she can no longer use that gadget in prep phase. That is the main issue, and solving that is very simple. Just disable it in prep phase. Now my proposed rework change is that after the prep phase ends and the action phase begins, Solis's gadget will actually have an even smaller detection range than it currently has now. Now you may be looking at me right now and thinking, bro, you're just making her even worse than she currently is, but hold your horses because this is the good bit. What I think Ubisoft should do is make it so the longer Solis stays alive, the more radius she gets. Starting off, as I said, with an even lower radius of just 10 meters at the start of the round, but come towards the end of the round, maybe get up to 15 meters like it used to be, or even reward those players for staying alive even longer by making it maybe 16 or 17 meters. This actually encourages anyone who's playing Solis not to go and spawn peek and counter people at the start of the round, but instead use their gadget, stay alive, and towards the end of the round, you'll be able to make plays. What this would do is turn Solis into an absolute powerhouse towards the end of the round. But to get there, you guys have to stay alive. It rewards you for playing safe, playing around the objective, and playing smart. I think this also does help break up the run and gun TDM style meta that we are currently in, and I think it's a change that Ubisoft should make to a lot more operators, making them a lot stronger the longer they stay alive, instead of rewarding players for just trying to get as many kills as they can. Now just to top all of this off, obviously with Solis having her old gadget again in the way that it used to work, I think Ubisoft have to go back on the change of impact grenades. I think it really did make Solis a powerhouse on defense, being able to impact through the floor kind of like a pulse, stopping people from planting from below. That is what made Solis so good back in the day, and if we're going to be reverting it and going back to the way she used to be, I think this is the perfect blend between what she used to be but with a heavily nerfed version. So what do you guys think? Are you in support of my rework for Solis? I think it's time we get some justice for what they did to one of the best defenders in the game.